Order in the court. Order, order. How are all of you tonight? It's me, DemiD, your judge, live on Twitch for the trial of our Lord and Savior Jesus, also known as a storyteller for you, who we are still waiting on. We are still waiting on. Whether he shows or not, the trial shall proceed. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I would like to direct your attention to the prosecutor. Phoenix, great to see you. Conroe, great to see you. Demas, great to see you. Aki, what in the heck is correct? Zero Wiseman, thank you. Urban, I hate to tell you, you will not be seeing Phoenix Wright gameplay today, unless you consider a real trial to be very much in the vein of Phoenix Wright. Hades, Sama, hello. Great to see you. Anyone at Toy Basher, wonderful. Master Awadi, you bet you. Master Awadi, you. You a naughty boy. You keep yourself to yourself today. Fault, thank you for the follow. Fault, I hope you are looking forward to this event. Fault, my dear, I must tell you, we have quite the member of our community, the biggest little storyteller you've ever met. In fact, on Discord, he goes by the name A Storyteller for You. On Twitch, if we see him on Twitch, he goes by the name Our Lord and Savior Jesus. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have both the prosecution and the defense. We will be hearing from the defense, our lovely friend, Mr. Spiderdude. We'll be hearing from him. He is a wonderful person. However, first we need to start off with the prosecution. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there are 4 charges that have been brought against this person, this defendant, whoever the heck you wish to call him, whether it is our Lord and Savior Jesus or whether or not, Jacob, great to see you. Whether or not it is our Lord and Savior Jesus, as he is known on Twitch, or a storyteller for you, as he is known on Discord, I can assure you that stories will be told tonight. So first, Chaos Chips Ahoy, wonderful to see you. As promised, we have Chaos Chips Ahoys for you. But of course, first, we must indeed begin with the prosecution, who I do not believe is in the courtroom at the moment. Prosecutor, DemiD, your prosecutor, are you ready? Are you ready to come? I'm coming, Your Honor. I'm coming. Just, how to... it's a tough time, you know what I mean? It's a real tough time. Oh, man, where are my glasses at? Where are my glasses? Here we go, guys. Here we go. Prosecutor DemiD. Well, you know what? Actually, this is not quite right. I'm sitting on the judge's seat, aren't I? Here we go, guys. Here we go. This is me. Hey, how are you, guys? How are you? It's me, Prosecutor Demi. Doing some great stuff here, Got a bunch, got a little bit of a messed up hair. Just gonna slick my hair back just a little bit. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Hello, hello. Missing the only spot that matters. Love it. All right, folks. I gotta tell you, we have got quite the trial today. Quite the trial today. Let me tell you, folks, there are 4 points that we're gonna be cross-examining and prosecuting our good friend Jesus with. Let me tell you, we got a lot going on. Okay, first off, I want to make something very clear. We're the prosecution here, yeah? As the prosecution, I want to make it extremely clear that this man, a storyteller for you, is somebody we should all aspire to be. Okay, this is a man who, by his own accounts, has he's scaled the ancient Egyptian pyramids, gone inside and found scepters and spears and amazing things. He's been to China. He's done some things in China. We're going to talk about the things he's done in China. But he's been to China. Amazing world traveler. By his own accounts, he is indeed a blacksmith who makes all sorts of weapons. However, he has lost his arm. He's got a prosthetic arm. In his own words, as we're going to see, he's got a prosthetic arm. Who is indeed, which is something that he lost the arm due to something that we'll go over in quite a bit. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. But first off, folks, here we go. charge number one. Okay, charge number one. Oh, hold up. He lost his arm to a cosplay weapon. We, the prosecution, are going to prove that he is guilty. This man over here is guilty of losing his arm to a cosplay weapon. Assassin's Creed cosplay weapon while we're at it. While we're being real nitpicky, because we, the prosecution, are indeed very nitpicky. Yeah? So, we got that charge, of course. Charge number two. Providing inadequate care to his friend James, who died in a spring-loaded trap in the Egyptian pyramids. May he rest in peace. Charge number three. Providing inadequate emotional support to Sofia, his ex-girlfriend, who can blame her, with a prosthetic leg, who murdered 8 of her kidnappers in China. True story. And finally, last but not least, we have perhaps the most damaging claim that we could, the whole reason we are even having this trial today, ladies and gentlemen, is the fourth point that we've got. The fourth point. Fabricating a chat room seizure on May 19th during a Resident Evil stream that scared chat and was, quite frankly, in poor taste. These are the 4 points of the prosecution. If anybody in the jury, which is all of you, by the way, all of you little punks who are in the jury right now, we got 20 folks up in here, you are going to be deciding whether or not this man is innocent, I'm sorry, guilty or not guilty, right? Guilty or not guilty of each of these 4 charges as presented by the prosecution and defended by our good friend Spiderdude, who I will now let have a word, have a moment, perhaps, is the better way to put it, Your Honor. He will now have a word and maybe talk a little bit more about his agenda here and his strategies, okay? Spiderdude, take it away. Spiderdude is on Discord so that everybody can see him, and I hope that everybody is looking forward to it. Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard the prosecution's opening statement, and now I will give mine. In doing so, I would like to remind everyone that the burden of proof is in fact on the prosecution. It is the prosecution that must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that my client is guilty of the charges brought on against him. In this regard, I believe the prosecution's evidence is completely inadequate. The prosecution refers to the cannon which grievously injured my client as a fictional weapon. However, I believe the evidence will show that such a weapon's existence is perfectly believable. The evidence will also show that the claims made disputing the validity of the weapon lack a good foundation. As for the prosecution's claim that my client did not provide care to James, the evidence will show not only did my client render aid, but he also did so at great risk to his own life. My client clearly stated that he helped James remove an arrow and bandage his hand when James was unable to do so himself. He only ceased his efforts when it was clear that there was nothing more to be done to help the deceased James. Mr. Demi also claims that Sofia was not only provided with adequate emotional support, a woman who, with only 3 limbs, managed to defend herself against 8 kidnappers. I ask, does that woman sound like she needs support from anyone? And finally, there is the alleged seizure that the prosecution claims was fabricated. Ladies and gentlemen of the supposed jury, there is no doubt in my mind. The evidence will show how my client never fabricated any such seizure. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what the evidence will show. Thank you. Objection! Objection, Your Honor. Let me tell you something here. There is a lot going on at stake, right? There's a lot here, a lot to be said. And I'm going to take a moment to look at the jury. Jesus' claims the weapon in question are made up in fanfic or in fact canon. We're about to find out right now. In fact, we, folks, if you just popped in, if you just figured out what some of the charges that we have are, we are going to start right now with charge number 1. Losing his arm to a cosplay weapon. Losing his arm to a cosplay weapon. Jesus, I don't know if Jesus is up here in the chat. Don't know if a storyteller for you is up here in the chat, but ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and Your Honor, let me tell you something. We've got a witness to call in. Not just any witness, a special witness. Somebody who was well versed in a very particular internet craft. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to call in the amazing, VIP, wonderful Miss Toon Doulahan. Miss Toon Doulahan, please enter the courtroom. And let's have your. Hold on. I just. Miss Toon Doulahan, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? So help these talkies? Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help these talkies? If so, Miss Doulahan, you may enter the courtroom. She says she swears. Let's get the prosecution back up in here. Prosecutor, where are you? Prosecutor. Prosecutor Demi, please. I'm coming, Your Honor. I'm coming. All right, here we go. All right. Yeah. Miss Toon Doulahan. Yeah. Miss Toon, you got some good stuff here, yeah? You swear it. I love it. Miss Toon Doulahan, let me tell you something. You, first of all, you got to let us know who the heck you are. Who are you? Why have we called you up in here today? What's your background? What's your name? Give us the whole, shebang. Give us all. What do you got here? Go by many names, but for the purpose of this trial, you may refer to me as Miss Doulahan. I also have many professions. Reverse Google image searching being one. Love it. Love the jury. Reverse image Google searching. Let me tell you something here. Thank you, Aki. Let me tell you something. Reverse Google image searching. For those of us who are not familiar with that, can you please let us know what does it mean to do a reverse Google image search? What even is that? Okay, I've heard of Google. I've heard of images. I've heard of reverse. It's like when you play the Uno card and the turns go in the other way. But Miss Doulahan, please let us know. What does it mean to do a reverse Google? Wow, my water. To do a reverse Google image search. What is that? What even is that? What even is that? What even is that? Simply uploading the image to Google, the website will do the work for you. Finding visually similar images. Okay, Miss Doulahan, that's wonderful stuff. That's wonderful stuff, and I'm a big fan of this, you know what I mean? We called you in here for a great reason. You got some good stuff on trial. So let me tell you something. I want you to let us know what is going on with this weapon. If I recall correctly, I believe that this man, Mr. Jesus, Mr. Storyteller for you, whatever you want to call him, yeah? I believe that this man posted a picture of the guillotine weapon on Discord that allegedly took the man's life. Which, can you share that with us, please? Can you give us a little bit of that evidence? Can you share it off to the courtroom, Miss Doulahan? Because let me tell you, In this court of law, I believe that Google images and evidence. There we go. There we go. First of all, not going to make any comments other than to say Discord dark mode is superior. Hashtag supreme. Shame on you for your light mode. But we've got an image right here, folks. Everyone see this image. This image over here is letting us know that there is indeed a guillotine gun that got posted. Yeah? It got posted. Love you, Claire. Hey, Claire, great to see you. It got posted, folks. Okay. Now, this guillotine gun, I don't know about you, folks. This gun is a little bit sketchy. You know what I mean? This man, who claims to go by the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus, is telling us that this gun took his arm. That he's got a prosthetic arm now. Okay. Well, Miss Doulahan, can you give us a little bit more about this guillotine gun? You performed a Google reverse image search. Give us a little bit more. What did you find here? What did you find here, Miss Doulahan? Because that's what we're here for, you know what I mean? That's what we're here for. We got Eclair up in here. We got Master Awadi. We got all sorts of channel point redemptions for glasses on and off. You know, people are going crazy up in here. They're going crazy up in here. They want to know exactly what is it? What do we got going on? What have we got going on? After doing the strenuous work of reverse searching the image, I came across an Etsy page of a suspiciously similar looking guillotine gun, the topic of the board being weapons. So Ms. Doulahan, you're letting us know right now that this weapon is not only something that can be easily purchased on the famous website Etsy, I'm sorry. The famous website Etsy, where anybody can make stuff and sell it or whatever. You're telling me that exact image that was posted on Discord that took the man's arm was indeed an image that could be found on Etsy. Is that correct? Is that correct? That indeed, I would agree with Missy Claire in the jury that the lawn seems equally patchy. It seems to be the exact same to me. It seems near identical. That is correct. Well, Miss Doulahan, give us a little bit more here. I know there's something a bit more. It's at a different angle than the image Jesus previously posted, but it's clear that it was taken in the same place. The Assassin's Creed logo is also visible here. After Googling Assassin's Creed guillotine gun kit, I was brought to Mr. Pinksy's prop store. Well, I gotta say, Mr. Pinksy's props, 5 stars, 999 sales, you know what I mean? That's a pretty good, I gotta say, you know what? Even me, the prosecutor, I can admit that might be that might be a quality purchase that our good friend made. If he even made the purchase, you know what I mean? Because this is just a search on Google. We got no idea if he even made this purchase. We don't even know if the man's got a prosthetic arm. But I would say that if he did lose his arm to this weapon, that would be something, wouldn't it? That would be something. If a man were to lose an arm to a guillotine gun that we could find on Etsy, that would be something. That would be absolutely something. We got a 1-star review. We got a 1-star review. This is not what I was expecting. Could have been Jesus, who lost his arm. Did not expect it. Miss Doulahan, amazing. Miss Doulahan, is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to add to the record? Because let me tell you, that's pretty incredible stuff that you found there. You know what I mean? That's pretty incredible stuff. Not only was the buyer unhappy with the product, but it confirms that the guillotine gun was indeed a prop, and a mediocre prop at that. With that, I can surmise that the gun was, at the very least, nowhere near capable of blasting through anyone's shoulder. I also find it hard to believe Jesus runs an Etsy store for props, seeing as his previously stated job was, quote, restoring old weapons, unquote. I would also like to state that Jesus has said that he has played or will play Assassin's Creed upon Demi asking if Jesus would ever do his own streams. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit if you can't see that one. He is indeed planning to do so soon in regard to our good friend DemiDyourMC's question and prompt about that. Probably some more games I just play when I feel like it, so Injustice 2 or Assassin's Creed. Miss Doulahan, do you have anything else you would like to say? Do you have anything else you'd like to tell us? Because let me tell you, I'm feeling pretty good over here. And with that, you end your statement. Excellent. Excellent. Well, sounds good to me. Well, Mr. Spider, why don't you go ahead and maybe give a crack at cross-examination? Because let me tell you, I don't think this is looking too good for you. If I'm being real serious here. Mr. Spiderdude, are you ready? Excellent. Miss Toulahan, you mentioned in your testimony that the buyer was unhappy with the product and that their opinion, quote, confirms that the guillotine gun was indeed a prop and a mediocre one at that, unquote. However, I would like to bring your attention to this quote by the defendant himself. Oh yeah, I don't really want to show the others because, well, they're either pieces or look like people just blanked on it. So when another's completed, I'll send a pic of it. Miss Toulahan, do you see what Mr. Spiderdude is posting? Not only does Jesus have a low opinion of his own work, but he refers to them as pieces. So what makes you believe that he doesn't make props? No matter. Miss Toulahan, you also said that you go by many other names and have other professions. Is it true that you were previously known by the name Slobberbear69 on Discord? Miss Toulahan, as the... Yes, thank you, Miss Toulahan. I can confirm. And is it true that you now go by Peepence on Discord? I can also confirm. So, do you think it is unbelievable that Jesus would go by Mr. Pinksky Props on Etsy? Do you think it is unbelievable that he practices a profession that he didn't tell us about? Objection, Your Honor! Objection! I gotta tell you, this seems a little bit outside the scope of what we're talking about here, okay? Whether or not he made the weapon is irregardless of the fact that the supposed defendant here lost his arm allegedly to this very same weapon. It has nothing to do with the fact that this blacksmith may or may not have been making the Etsy shop himself. Spiderdude, do you have any rebuttal to this claim from the prosecution? I'm not asking that she does, only if she has told us everything that she does. But Spiderdude, I'm referring to the point itself. I'm referring to the fact that Mr. Pinksky Props may or may not be our good defendant over here, you know, the Mr. Jesus. But whether or not he is the owner, Mr. Pinksky Props, has nothing to do with the fact that the arm was lost allegedly by this weapon. In fact, if he is Mr. Pinksky Props, I would maybe doubt that his own weapon took his own life. Any response to that, Mr. Spiderdude? I don't love Chatroom delay. Your Honor, what do you think? Let's get the... Your Honor, you're coming back over here, Your Honor? Yes, I would have to say, indeed, in regards to the prosecution's objection, I would say that you know, in regards to the witness perhaps being an Etsy shop owner or not, or the defendant perhaps being an Etsy shop owner or not, irrelevant to the case at hand, and that will be sustained. However, the point about Ms. Tundulahan perhaps having many professions herself will remain. Carry on, Mr. Spiderdude, with your cross-examination. I suppose it isn't impossible, but it is improbable. Do we know every profession you have, Miss Tundulahan? You do not. No further questions, Your Honor.
Objection!
Look, I got one more objection here. Okay, I got one more objection. Okay. Let the record show, the professions of Miss Tundulahan, the many professions of her, have nothing to do with the fact that she is indeed an expert at Google reverse image searching. That's the only thing that we've got up in here. It has nothing to do with it. Her character or her other professions have nothing to do with the fact that she is indeed an expert witness going on. Your Honor, what do you got to say? Well, I would say that it does indeed affect her qualifications of being an expert witness, that we don't know much about her past. However, I would agree with your statement, Mr. Prosecutor, overall, that indeed the fact that she may have other professions does not necessarily hinder the ability to be an expert witness in Google reverse image searching. So I would sustain that objection. Yeah, good objection. Okay, ladies and gents, we're back. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so we're done with cross-examination of this excellent person, Ms. Tundulahan. Thank you very much. You may return to your seat. You're an excellent person, and if I can just say, even if you have other professions, even if you got a whole bunch of other side hustles going on, you know what I mean? It's a tough economy. Yeah, it's a tough economy. Thank you for your diligence in being a Google reverse image searcher. Now, ladies and gents of the jury, that's all of you folks, all you kind folks at home. We got 19 folks up in here. Yeah, we got 19 folks. I am indeed very sweaty. As are you, Miss Thune. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would ask you now to think back on everything that we've learned. I've seen a few people like NTH who maybe just busted in here and do not necessarily know the context of what just occurred. So we're going to scroll up one more time, and we're going to take a look at the evidence, or rather the testimony that was given to us by Ms. Tundulahan, an expert witness when it comes to Google reverse image searching. We're going to go one more time here so you guys understand exactly what we're going by. So, of course, we've got our Lord and Savior Jesus, or a storyteller for you, up here on trial. Okay, the man tells us that he lost his arm, one of his arms. In fact, he's got a prosthetic arm because he lost it as a result of this weapon that he posted on Discord. Well, Miss Tundulahan, an expert, if I might add, an expert in Google reverse image searching, traced this image back to Etsy. Okay, and I'm sure, as you know, Etsy is not necessarily going to be a store that's going to be selling weapons on the mass market. You know what I mean? Now, indeed, Mr. Pinsky Props is indeed the owner of this guillotine gun. Now, Spiderdude, the defense, is claiming that it's possible that our good friend, Mr. Jesus, could indeed be the owner. He could go by the name Mr. Pinsky Props. It could very well be the case. However, we don't have Jesus up in here. You know what I mean? We don't have Jesus up in here. So when it comes down to it, thank you for the channel point. When it comes right down to it, we got no idea. Okay, we got no idea. So I would argue, as a result of our expert witness testimony, that indeed this man Jesus over here lost his arm to an Assassin's Creed cosplay weapon, and I gotta tell you, that's pretty embarrassing. That's pretty embarrassing stuff. You know what I mean? We don't have him on the stand. We can't ask him whether or not he's actually got his arm. We have no idea. We got absolutely no idea. You know what I mean? We got no idea if he does or does not have the arm. However, I can tell you right now that if he did lose his arm to an Assassin's Creed cosplayed weapon, that's pretty pathetic. You know what I mean? So, let's go ahead and open up to you guys, the jury. And I saw a message from Mr. Conroe. A very good question, I might add. We are going through each of the 4 charges one at a time. And then at the very end, we'll give an overall estimation, deliberation, whatever you want to call it. One of those Asian words, okay? Mr. Cowbell. Mr. Cowbell, Mr. Cowbell, what do you got for us? I mean, you got something you want to say before we go ahead and vote on this charge? I mean, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. Can anyone here truly say that they are pure enough to prosecute our Lord and Savior Jesus? I can tell you I am impure as heck, and I love to do it. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I love you, Mr. Cowbell. We are going to go ahead and call for a vote right now, okay? I'm going to drop a poll. It's going to be a 2-minute poll here, because I want you to really stop here and think. You know what I mean? Stop here and think. Is Jesus guilty of losing an arm to an Assassin's Creed cosplay weapon? Well, I guess we got multiple charges here. I guess first off, let's do 2 1-minute polls then. 2-minute, 1-minute polls. Well, nah, we'll just go ahead and do the same thing. Is Jesus guilty of losing his arm? Indeed, the burden of proof, just as Mr. Target said. All right, we're going to find out right now. Yes, or it's going to be guilty and not guilty. All right, you can never say someone's really innocent. You can only say they're not guilty. So we got a 1-minute poll up in here. 1-minute poll up in here. Sorry, 2-minute poll. There we go. 2-minute poll, folks. Folks, right around 19 people in the jury. Little more than 12, but you know what I mean. Capiche, capash. Great stuff going on up in here in chat. We're going to find out right now whether or not this man is indeed guilty of losing his arm to an Assassin's Creed cosplay weapon, as pointed out by our expert witness, Miss Toon Doulahan, doing some great stuff. It's quoted a message that would be considered guilty on the grounds of withholding evidence. Phantom Phoenix, could you elaborate, my dear? Would you elaborate a little bit further? We're going to deliberate these. Is being injured a crime? That is indeed a great question. Is being injured a crime? I would say, this sleazeball of a prosecutor would tell you that that losing an arm to an Assassin's Creed cosplay weapon is indeed maybe something that would be a little bit embarrassing. You know what I mean? A little bit embarrassing. So we got extra votes coming in too, folks. People who got strong opinions up in here are very welcome. They're very much welcome to go ahead and go for it. Oh my goodness, it's a close vote, guys. It's a close vote. It's a very close vote. Maybe we shouldn't do extra votes. Maybe we should just see what people actually think here. But it's getting pretty close. There was indeed no medical evidence of the injury. That is correct, Mr. Toy Basha. That is correct. In fact, the prosecution would love to call Mr. Jesus to the stand. He is not currently available. Okay, if Mr. Jesus comes in here, you better believe we're gonna come back. We're gonna get some proof of this. Yeah, that's true. We got no prosthetic arm, but we have no evidence of the injury. We also have no evidence of not the injury. You feel what I'm saying? Capiche, capash. Oh, folks, this is a close vote. This is straight up 13-13. Guilty, not guilty. Holy cow. Holy cow. Holy cow. This is a close one. This is one for the ages, folks. This is one for the ages. We might need a revote at the end of this. I think if it's not a definitive vote at the end, we might need to go back at the very end to truly settle this. Wow. Wow. Mr. Phantom Phoenix with the 900 channel points, feeling very confident that this man indeed is not guilty of losing his arm to the cosplay one. Hiroki, great to see you. At the more Demi bites, like 2K a vote. That's a good point. You know, maybe we should do one more. Was 100 too cheap? Well, we'll go back. I think, ladies and gentlemen, going forward, we'll make sure that the extra points are a little bit more pricey. Or maybe we'll do no extra votes. Maybe we'll just do it straight up. This is a very close one, right? A very close one, 17-18, 51 to 49%. We'll do a revote at the very end of the trial to determine whether or not that was the case. And I would agree with Mr. Torbasher. No, who allegedly caused the injury is tough. It's very tough. All right. Anyway. Ladies and gents, we're going to move on to the next charge. Phantom Phoenix, I see what you're saying, but we're going to move on, and maybe when we deliberate later at the end of the trial, we'll go ahead and go just a little bit further here. So, folks, I got something to tell you. And it's a little bit embarrassing, you know what I mean? It's a little bit embarrassing. Not as embarrassing as losing your arm to a cosplay weapon, because, you know, that's that's really embarrassing. That's very embarrassing. However, folks, I got to tell you right now, we got charge number 2, okay? And we're going to take a quick looksy-peeksy here. Boy Basha, thank you. We're going to go through some talkies if they show up on my green screen. Zachab, great to see you. Great to see you. So, charge number 2, that our man Jesus, or a storyteller for you, provided inadequate care to his friend James, who died through a spring-loaded trap in the Egyptian pyramids. May he rest in peace. Objection. So he reached for it, and his reward was a rusty arrow through the palm. And so I had to bandage his hand after removing the arrow, and then we had passed the room, or so we thought. Okay, so we had to go to court and stuff, and guess what? Well, thank God we had a lawyer. The evidence clearly shows that Jesus rendered aid to his injured friend, even at a great personal risk. Not only that, but he only left James after he was clearly beyond help. Was he to drag his body at risk of setting off more traps? Mr. Spiderdude, I would agree with this objection. However, let's go ahead and deliberate upon the evidence before we go ahead and object to things like this. So for now, I'm going to say overruled. However, I do believe you're making a very strong point, concerning the help that has been given from one defendant, our Lord and Savior Jesus, to his friend James. May he rest in peace. Okay, thank you very much, Spiderdude. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the gung ho, very gung ho. Very gung-ho, appreciate it. However, we got a little bit of stuff to come through. You know what I'm saying? We got a little bit of stuff to come through. So give me just a second, because you know what I mean? People here, we're so familiar with the ins and the outs of this case, but the jury does not necessarily know what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and start it off with something real nice and easy. And that is going to be the testimony that indeed our good friend Jesus has given in regards to this, right? So here we go, folks. We're about to go right into it. So here we go. So, we just got permission to actually go into a pyramid. So me and James, try your best to remember James, headed off. We just started. So, it was only me and him. By the way, there was my first mate James. Please try to remember him. He'll be, quote, important, unquote, later. I haven't mentioned him till now, so basically, he was an old friend. Okay. Then we were headed into the pyramid and just looking around, and we came to a pit. And we didn't fall like some people would expect, and then we shimmied around it. By the way, this was like our second or third mission, so we didn't have good stuff to help with traversal, and when we got around, there were pressure plates just scattered on the floor. So we were going around them, and he dropped his torch. So he reached for it, and his reward was a rusty arrow through the palm. And so I had to bandage his hand after removing the arrow, and then we passed the room, or so we thought. Yo, he ain't a black devil, he a chocolate demon. Well, he soon started feeling queasy, or however you say it, and, well, he accidentally stood on another plate. Well, something happened that changed my perspective on my job. There is a reason we don't like to mention James often. The gate closed, and a spear flew from behind us and went halfway through his skull. The gate closed, and a spear flew behind us and went halfway through his skull. He fell forward, face planting into another plate, and an arrow hitting his spine. I looked at him. I decided to press on. So you think a spear through the skull is survivable? I had found a sickle and a scepter. Well, I had a scepter. I had to use the scepter to pry a different gate open, and when I left, they asked, "Where is James?" Yeah, kinda. I still had the sickle, though. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the testimony that you have heard regarding our good friend Jesus. Now, going back to the objection that I do believe our good friend Mr. Spiderdude gave us, let's go ahead. We're going to clear this charge up just for a little bit. You know, I'm sure all you smart folks out there remember the charge, right? So the objection here that our good friend Spider says, the evidence clearly shows that Jesus rendered aid to his injured friend even at great personal risk. Not only that, but he only left James after James was clearly beyond help. Was Jesus to drag his body at risk of setting off more traps? Well, folks, I got to tell you, that is indeed a very good point. That's a very good point. However, I would question the validity, or rather, not the validity, but rather, if he's in the pyramids with his good friend James, and James gets the skull through the head, I find it a little bit unnerving that our good friend James instantly perished, and there was no aid rendered. There was no phone call to the authorities. There was no nothing. In fact, it seems as though our good friend Jesus went ahead to find a scepter and a spear, or I'm sorry, a scepter and a scythe, and did not even think about going backward. You know what I'm saying? I do not believe that our good friend gave any sort of indication that he was going to go back, that he was going to make sure that everything was okay. I think he just looked at his friend, got a spear through the skull, and thought, you know what, that's cool. That's cool. Time to keep moving on. Oh, looky, we found ourselves a scepter and a spear and a scythe. Well, I agree with the zero wise men in the audience. No one tried to get the body. Jesus indeed should have done something. I could not agree more. Ladies and gentlemen, I got something I need to show you. Okay. This is indeed because it's all well and good. It's all fun and games until we remember that somebody perished. Okay, our good friend James passed away. I would say no justice was given. Prosecution's on the side of justice. You feel me? I'm on the side of justice. I want our good friend James, to be remembered in the way that he deserves. So I have a little special treat for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, all you wonderful, beautiful people. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a good man right there. That was a good man. Passed away. You feel what I'm saying? In fact, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have a few more pieces of evidence that I would like to submit. You know what I'm saying? I got a little bit more to think with here, because really, prosecutors like me, we look like sleazeballs. We're sweaty as heck. We got grease on our hair, but we're on the side of justice. Okay, take a look at this. This is a picture of James thinking about the long and eventful life that he'll lead before his life was tragically cut short by a pressure-loaded spring arrow to the back of the head, with nothing done before it. One more piece. This is a picture of James thinking about how great it feels to be alive before he dropped his torch and triggered a pressure-loaded spring trap, shooting a spear through the back of his skull, with no help from his good friend Jesus, a storyteller for you. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we have no further points to make here, at least as me as the prosecution, I'm going to throw this back to our good friend, Mr. Spiderdude. Great job, excellent job over here. I would love to see you, Mr. Spiderdude, try to spin this morbid murder of an event into something defendable. But let's go ahead and see what Mr. Spider's got, because I would agree with Ms. Zero Wiseman that this is somebody who indeed was looking forward to a long and eventful life before it was tragically cut short by sheer negligence. You feel me? Mr. Spiderdude, do you have anything else? Jesus had no involvement in James' death. Any negligence was his own. This is a blatant attempt at slander by the prosecution. A blatant attempt at slander by the prosecution. I will not allow Jesus' good name to be tainted by falsehoods. As Jesus did render aid to his friend. And going up, we can even see it. He only ceased when he could no longer help his best friend James. So who but Jesus could be hurt more by the death of this kind man? The defense rests. Yeah, okay. That's real great and all. I would like to point your direction to the jury, my friend. I hear some people, some loud people in the jury. Mr. Phantom Phoenix, who does indeed make a very good point that the mission in question should have been explored by more than just two people. Not only the first aid mentioned doesn't, and I quote, deal with the possibility of poisons and other things laced on the rest of the I would have to agree with that, Mr. Phantom Phoenix. I do agree with just about everything that we're saying here, because quite frankly, it's a little bit upsetting. It's a little bit upsetting. I do think, if nothing else, there was serious negligence in the part of the organizers of this expedition. You know, I feel like if you're going to go to the Egyptian pyramids, and you're not ready for spring-loaded traps that are going to shoot a spear through the back of your head, that's probably a little bit negligent. You know what I mean? However, I will point out that the prosecution's specific charge here, folks, is that Jesus did not provide adequate care to his friend James, who did die to a spring-loaded trap in the Egyptian pyramids. May he rest in peace. Mr. Conroe, are you interested in some expert testimony? Mr. Conroe, I do believe you are somebody we have spoken to who is indeed an expert of sorts in archaeology, or an expert in sorts of the Egyptian traps that may or may not be present. I wonder, any objections from Spiderdude if we were to ask Mr. Conroe? Indeed, I do agree that the charge may not add up to our good friend Conroe. How I would advise the peanut gallery to not call my charges terrible. You feel I'm the man in charge here. I'm the man in charge here. To call it a terrible charge, I want justice. There's nothing I want more than justice and Takis. Those are the two things that I want in my life, and a little bit more grease in my hair, and a little bit more fat on my bacon, if you catch my drift. So, anyway. Let's take a second here. Oh my, oh. I gotta, oh. That talkie really got me bad. Oh my goodness, hold on a second, folks. Let me tell you. Oh. Order in the court. Order in the court. Where's my gavel? Order. Oh, my green screen. Order in the court, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot of heated opinions from the jury. A lot of heated opinions from the jury. First of all, Mr. Conroe, I would advise you. Yes, I would say, as wonderful as it would be to have an expert witness, I do not believe that the charge does indeed have anything to do necessarily with our good friend over here. Let's go back to my lovely courtroom. It may not be relevant to the charge at hand. However, I would encourage you to share some of your expert testimony or your expert opinions of sorts via the chat or via the jury, so that they may consider some of those features yourself. Because that would be just lovely, just peachy. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I will ask you right now, what do we? Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the sub. Zero and Claire, love both of you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we've given quite a bit of thought to this charge. Yes, quite a bit of thought to this charge. For the most part, I will now put it to you. We'll give it a longer pull here because I do believe that there are some points that our good friend, Mr. Conroe Zero, may add in regards to the Egyptian pyramids. However, I would say let's keep it to the charge for the most part. The charge being that the raid rendered to his friend was wholly inadequate, and R.I.P. James, may you rest in peace. Conroe, what I will say is the Egyptian bowstring will last 120 hours fully drawn, and springs weren't invented until the 18th century. Well, that's a spicy meatball. Or rather, that's a spicy talkie. Mr. Earth, great to see you. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is now time to make a decision. The first charge that we had, will be revisited towards the end of the case. However, this charge right here, we're going to tweak the channel point redemption, make it a little more expensive. I don't want a flagrant abuse of your jury powers. No flagrant abuse, please. A little bit of abuse is fine. And I would like you to ask yourself this. Is Jesus guilty of providing an adequate care to James? May he rest in peace. Guilty or not guilty? Let's go ahead and say, here we are. Here we are, folks. For the most part, I believe this should be a pretty fair, point of sorts. There we are. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a poll, a 2-minute poll that is occurring. Now, think about this charge, right? Because the jury, or rather the burden of what is occurring here, is wholly a result of the prosecution and its charges. Missy Claire is saying, if you can't handle the trap, stay out of the pyramids and play Lara Croft in the safety of your home. Would not agree more, my dear. However, I'm a judge. I will keep my my opinions impartial and to myself. I may overrule some ridiculous thoughts here, but you know. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you just how unfortunate. Yes, I could not. Yes. And once again, please remember that our good friend James, this is no laughing matter, James lost his life tragically to the spring-loaded pyramids, the spring-loaded trap in the pyramids. Please show your respects. Please show your respects. This is a man who lost his life tragically and senselessly. Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is seeming to be much more significant. This is seeming to be a pretty significant outcome from the jury. To the extent a temple is guarded, it would have been by guards in the vicinity, populated, well-patrolled areas. I would agree with this. This is a Jesus, Eclair. This is not the Jesus. However, you know, knowing the tall tales of our good friend, I would not be surprised if one day he did claim indeed to be the Jesus. However, he goes on Discord by a storyteller for you. And on Twitch, oh my goodness, it looks like a very significant guilty in regards to charge number 2, providing inadequate care to James. May he rest in peace. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do believe that we do have a third point that the prosecution will be bringing up. Mr. Prosecutor does seem to be in the restroom still. However, I would like, I'm going to go check on him and see how he's doing in the restroom. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. Oh, Mr. Demi, are you coming? Are you? Prosecutor! Prosecutor! Come back, please. Back, Mr. Prosecutor. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? How you doing, folks? How you doing? Look, I see we got a guilty verdict there. Love to see it. You feel me? I love to see it. I love to see it. You love to see it. You know, let's get a little grease in the hair. You feel me? We got some good stuff going on here, folks. This is justice. This is hashtag justice. Look, folks, I want to remind you, you are helping the legacy of our good friend James here. Once again, quite a bit of legacy right there. Thinking about the senseless murder that occurred there. Gotta say, very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Okay, so, folks, that was point number 2. Guilty. Decidedly guilty. Okay, charge number 1. Oh, a little dicey, right? Little dicey, but charge number 3. Now, this is a spicy one, folks. You thought those Takis were spicy. You thought those Takis were spicy, folks. Let me tell you. Charge number 3. Our good friend Jesus provided inadequate emotional support to Sofia, his ex-girlfriend with a prosthetic leg, who murdered 8 kidnappers in China. Now, folks, I fought tooth and nail to get an additional charge put on this, and I was denied by our judge. Okay, I'm not gonna point any fingers over here. I think there's a little favoritism going on. You know what I mean? This judge, I don't know what's going on with him. Keep it to yourself, Mr. Demi. That's a very rude thing to be saying, and I don't appreciate it. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I apologize. Anyway, Your Honor, I gotta tell you, or rather, the jury, I gotta tell you, this story is indeed quite one. Okay, we're gonna go over the facts right now. We're gonna go over the specific witness testimony from a Jesus and not the Jesus, as I saw the jury was a bit confused about. This is a Jesus. But by all accounts, you know, I could see him pulling off the Jesus here. So, folks, here we go. So, the choice of story number 3 was China. Okay, well, we had decided to bring in my used-to-be girlfriend, friend Sofia, and she recently got a prosthetic leg. Like, almost as soon as we got to a hotel, she got yoinked. Then, a week later, she turned up with something on her and in her hand. I wouldn't say she escaped. Well, she murked him. She didn't show up at the hotel. She showed up at the police. Bro, it's not good. He showed up at the police. He had killed 8 people. And he still committed a murder. Okay. So we had to go to court and stuff. And guess what? Well, thank God we had a lawyer. So, she was allowed to leave. Or she was allowed out, but she had to leave. So she went back to base, but one leg and prosthetic one. We don't exactly go out unarmed. She had... Sorry, I meant to send the whole thing, not just she had. Okay. She had a weapon of choice, and guess what she chose? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would actually like you right now to guess what weapon that she chose as a result of killing the 8 people. I'm going to give you a quick poll here. A quick poll. Some people know the answer. Some people know the answer. I'm going to have no extra votes here. I want a real thing here. What weapon do you believe? What weapon do you believe was chosen? Did Sofia choose to kill her 8 kidnappers? Did she choose a handgun? Did she choose a cane sword? Did she choose her prosthetic leg? Did she choose a rope? Or did she choose an SM, a semi-automatic machine gun? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to know what you think here. What do you think? What weapon do you believe was chosen? We're gonna go for a quick 1-minute poll here because we don't want to take up all your time. You know what I'm saying? 1-minute poll. What weapon do you believe that Sofia, Jesus' ex-girlfriend, chose to kill her 8 kidnappers in China? No guillotine gun. I know. I wish she had she definitely used a guillotine gun. Indeed, I love it. What weapon do you believe personally that she chose? There's no extra votes. I'm quite curious to see what people think about this. What's the answer here? We got a whole smorgasbord of answers. I gotta say, we got a whole smorgasbord of answers. Whole smorgasbord. My goodness, folks, that's a lot. We got a lot to parse through when it comes to something like that. We got a whole lot to parse through. Because really, there's quite a bit going on there. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring up Jesus and his charge once more. Let's go ahead and keep this one going. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like most people think that she used her prosthetic leg. And you know what? I'd have to tell you, believe it or not, according to the facts of the case, you would be 1/8 correct. I'm not going to spoil it a little bit too much here, but one unfortunate soul did indeed die to the prosthetic leg. However, the remaining seven got killed by a cane sword. By a cane sword, ladies and gentlemen of the courtroom. It was indeed a cane sword that finished off the remaining 7 people. Congratulations to those of you who guessed correctly. Now, ladies and folks, you'd have to think to yourself that at the time a girlfriend, right? I believe that was the... Hold up, let's go back here. Was she an ex at the time, or she was an ex in the present day of telling of the story? Let's find out one more time here. Was she indeed the ex? Okay, she was, yep, used to be girlfriend. She was probably a girlfriend at the time. This was somebody, ladies and gentlemen, this is somebody who killed 8 people. Now, I don't know about you. I don't believe that Sofia, despite her prosthetic leg, is a natural-born kill. I don't think she's a merc, you know what I mean? I don't think she's any sort of mercenary. Certainly, Jesus is more of a blacksmith, maybe a poor blacksmith at that, but a blacksmith nonetheless, than anything else. I don't believe that this is a natural-born killer. However, Sofia not only got kidnapped, she beat down 1 person with a prosthetic leg, and she killed the remaining 7 with a cane sword. Now, that to me, folks, sounds like something traumatic. You know, I'm no murderer myself, but I would have to imagine that getting kidnapped and killing 8 folks, 1 with a cane sword, or 7 with a cane sword and 1 with a prosthetic leg, would be a traumatic incident. Now, our good friend Jesus got nothing to say on the matter. Nothing. In fact, I wish he were here. I wish you were here right now. I would deliver justice right now. Justice for Sofia. We got justice for James, but what about Sofia, that poor ex-girlfriend? You know, who could blame her? Because that was a
Objection!
Objection! As I've already stated, Sofia is clearly not in need of support of any kind. Her acts of unrivaled bravery and independence speak for themselves. If anything, Jesus needs to be protected from this woman. Nothing further, Your Honor. Objection sustained. I would have to agree with this statement. Mr. Prosecutor DemiD, please go ahead and remove that hearsay of sorts from the record. Okay. All right, okay. So I get it. Okay, she's a brave girl, more or less. She's a brave girl, blah, 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 blah. Jesus might, I believe the sustained objection was in regard to Jesus needing to be protected from this woman, which I would have to agree with. This woman does sound like a bit of a person, or a bit of a BA, as you might call her. However, folks, I gotta tell you, I find it very hard to believe that that regardless of emotional support or whatever, that this man Jesus so callously and irrevocably did nothing to assuage, the sort of fears and the things that were going on. Because even if she's a great woman, I think most people, when you're in a relationship, are generally going to want, some sort of supportive systems. That's all I'm going to say. I know sustained objection. I'm gonna keep most of that junk to myself. It's a little bit of a janky assertion here. However, I'm very curious what you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are thinking here, because we got a lot of thoughts. We see Eclair thinking that Jesus definitely cut off her leg by accident. That's why they broke up. We got all sorts of integrity being questioned by Spider. We've got non-existent to the defense. She should deserve justice, whether she existed or not. Walked on a mine turtle. How was the leg lost? I wish we could know. I wish we could know how the leg was lost. I wish we could know. It sounds very relevant to the case, if we're being perfectly honest. It sounds extremely relevant to what's occurring here. Because I got to tell you, folks, overall, this is unfortunately just not the kind of best scenario going here. Phoenix is saying, being brave in such a situation doesn't mean that they don't feel remorse, trauma, sympathy, and empathy. I could not agree more, folks. Now, if nobody else, if no other members of the court here or the jury here are thinking that we need more evidence or witness statements or whatever you want to say, I think we're in a pretty good spot to call for a vote. However, I am not. I'm just a prosecutor here, so give me just a second. I'm thinking maybe I need to get a little more water, just a little bit thirsty. So give me just you know what I mean? Just a little bit of a second. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, first of all, great to see you. I've seen some interesting points brought up by both the prosecution and the defense. I've seen some interesting points coming up with the jury. I strongly wish that we had our defendant here. It's a little bit unfortunate because I do believe there are quite a few questions that could be answered by the defendant. I'm sure we are all eager to know how Sofia lost her leg, how they broke up. What the sort of legal ramifications of killing 8 people in a foreign country like China. I myself am a judge, and I don't know the legal repercussions. China, you know what I mean? China's it's not the prettiest cookie. However, I would like to know how pretty your cookies are, chat. I would like to know what you think about this case. Let's do, you know what? Let's do a 3-minute poll here. I feel like maybe 2 minutes could be a little bit quick. Is Jesus guilty of not providing support to Sofia, who murdered 8 people? I'm going to say guilty or not guilty. Guilty or not guilty. What do you folks have to say? 3-minute poll. We'll give a little bit more discussion here. A little bit more nuance. A little bit of nuance is always a nice thing. let's go ahead and ask away. Ask away. Yes, I got to say, I don't know if Chaos Chips Ahoy is still here, but I do indeed have his Chips Ahoy cookies. They are quite delicious. I would like everybody in the courtroom to know that Chewy Chips Ahoy cookies, I'm a judge, and I can say with legal weight behind me that Chewy Chips Ahoy cookies are infinitely superior than crunchy, regular Chips Ahoy cookies that are garbage and always taste stale. And the only thing good for them would be rations if you're in the army and you don't want to know that your cookies taste stale. Chewy Chips Ahoy cookies are indeed the best. Master Awadi, that is a great question. Where did you get the cane sword? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I wish you knew. We are only going off the stories of our good friend Sir Jesus, our Lord and Savior, long may he reign, as well as the additional alias, a storyteller for you. Top 5 cookies from Target. I love it. Here we go. Top 5 cookies. Number 1, even if you don't prefer the taste, even if you think that the cookies themselves are outmatched by other cookies in terms of taste, my personal preference for my favorite cookie would have to be the Oreo. I'm a fan of the Oreo. I love Oreos. And I have to tell you that the sheer variety of flavors and indeed, actually, I might have a little bit of a something to share with everybody regarding Oreos in just a little bit. Oh my goodness, we have how many people are saying they prefer original to chewy? Eclair is saying that, Hades is saying that, and Torbasher was saying that. Well, all three of you have actually incorrect opinions. If I had a bailiff, I would remove you from the courtroom, but I have no bailiff. I am just myself with my glorious wig. However, you are on a watch list because that is a horrible opinion. Horrible opinion. Number 1 cookie is Oreo. I do believe there are tastier cookies, but I love Oreos. I think there's something very potent and wonderful about them. No way, you're eating original Chips Ahoy right now. Amazing. Amazing. My number 2 favorite cookie, Little Debbie oatmeal cookies. I think they're amazing. I'm not even the biggest fan of oatmeal in general, but Little Debbie's, those soft cookies, I'm sure everybody here knows what I'm talking about. They are absolutely incredible. Hockey flavored Oreos would certainly be up there. Easy number 2, Little Debbie's. Amazing cookies. Number 3, they could be Chewy Chips Ahoy's. They could be Chewy Chips Ahoy's, honestly. I like them quite a bit. Number 4, I love the sugar cookies you get at the store that you buy a 6 or 8 pack. And we got the frosting and the really soft chewy. I love the texture of the chewy cookies, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. That's what I like. That's number 4. Number 4. And number 5, for my 5th favorite cookie, thinking just generally speaking, obviously I'm not going to specific bakeries or things of that regard. I would have to say my 5th favorite cookie, that's tough. That's real tough. I would say fudge dipped, the fudge Oreos that have the mint dip. In fact, those might be number 1. Those are quite good. I can't think of a 5th at the moment, I have to say, but amazing. Oatmeal cream pies are indeed cookies. They have a shape of a cookie. I don't want anybody to tell me that they're not. None of us are good too. Oh, Girl Scout cookie. You know what? You're right. 5th favorite cookie would probably be the Thin Mint. Or maybe the Samoa. Hard to say. One of those two for my 5th favorite cookie. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, looks like we have a not guilty. For more or less decidedly, 73% to 23%. That is indeed a pretty firm majority. Looks like we are not guilty here. Mr. Jesus is not guilty indeed of providing inadequate support to a strong, confident woman. Phantom Phoenix, great taste. I love it. So do you, Cowbell. Amazing. Now, if I recall correctly, there was indeed a 4th charge. Now, and if I'm additionally recalling correctly, and I hope I am because I'm the judge here. If I'm additionally following correctly, I believe that this 4th charge is perhaps the most serious. That perhaps the first 3 charges were a little bit more on the silly and light side. I don't know what a cookie stream would look like, Chaos Chips Ahoy. Somebody on Discord or on chat right now, tell me, what does it look like to have a cookie stream? And if so, we'll go ahead and do it. I can tell you, we might be able to have a cookie stream right now, except I have no milk, which that was an oversight. That was an absolute oversight. I 100% did not bring any milk with me. I feel very, very ashamed, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm losing you as a community leader of sorts to not be doing cookie tasting stream. Amazing. Well, there are some ideas that I have. We could do something like that post stream, because we're almost done. The fourth charge is coming up, folks, and I have to tell you once again a little bit more on the serious side of things. And let's go ahead and call our prosecutor, who I do believe is maybe getting more Chips Ahoy. Prosecutor Demi, are you on your way? Because you coming over, Prosecutor Demi? Because we got a trial here, and a trial is something that would be a nice thing to do. Oh, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, hello. How are you? Hello. Look, folks. We got a lot of stuff going on here. It's a tough job being the prosecutor. You know what I mean? We got a lot going on. We got a new charge here, right? The fourth charge, the final charge, and I got to tell you, it's really something. It's really something. This fourth charge, like I said, and like the judge said, it is something. Well, we got a lot of gel. We got a lot of gel. This is the look that I got. You know what I'm saying? This is the ladies. The Sofias of the world, they leave the Jesuses for the guys like me, you know what I'm saying? So, if you were wondering where I went up to, I heard that there might be a cookie tasting stream at the end of this one, and I got a special treat for all of you. It's hard to see with the green screen, but I got a sealed pack of Pokemon Oreos that I've never eaten, that I would love to eat. There's indeed a bunch of different flavors, 16 different Pokemon inside of the Oreo cookies, inside the wafer, which are a lot of fun, a real blast, a real treat to look through. So maybe after the stream, we'll go ahead and do that, because that sounds like a lot of fun. I like the idea of a cookie tasting stream. However, we're not here about cookie tasting stream right now. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we've got a fourth and final, particularly exciting. Well, not exciting is a hard word, because like I said, folks, this is the most serious one. This is the most serious. It's all fun and games until until James dies and whatnot. But this is a little bit more serious. So, folks, I would like to tell you right now, this is the fourth and final case. Charge 4. Jesus, we find him guilty of fabricating a chat room seizure on May 19th during a Resident Evil 2 stream that scared chat and was quite frankly in poor taste. Okay, folks, we've got some evidence, or rather some testimony that we can share with the court. In fact, it's a little bit tricky overall because there was a lot of feelings and whatnot involved with that. But that being said, let's go ahead and look at Jesus' testimony right here. Should I be feeling numb all of a sudden? You're 10. Ugh. Ick. Heck low. 6 years. Tease. I ate him. I'm okay. Hold down. Okay, I'm feeling better. I'm a fake. A nyap. Oik. Night. 5. And our med is going to help in a minute. Well, guess what happened? I got bit by a Chinese banded crate. Chinese banded crate caused temporary paralysis, and we don't know about the numbing. So you think I'm lying? Spicy. And the prosecution will note that chat was alarmed by not the Chinese branded crate as much, but the earlier points. So folks, gotta level with you here. You know what I'm saying? Gotta level with you here. I'm under the impression, and this is coming from the prosecution. You know what I mean? So I think this positive impression's got a lot of weight attached to it. It's got a lot of you know, because people think the prosecution's like a trigger happy, like, you know, wanting the stone and blood and all the great stuff. Well, I gotta tell you, it is actually, in the prosecution's opinion, that our good friend Jesus, a storyteller for you, is actually an upstanding gentleman. Great stories, you know, great. I wish that my life were nearly as eventful as the life of, you know, exploring pyramids and going to China, and being a blacksmith, and you know, making guns and all that great stuff. And that's actually incredible stuff. And in fact, if you're here in the audience right now being quiet, you know, I respect you quite a bit. I think actually your stories are unparalleled, and that's great stuff. However, I would say I do believe the poor taste here is pretty big, because I can tell you the DemiD and the chat felt very awkward. They felt very awkward by this. It was not necessarily something that's really encouraging a great discussion of chat. You know what I mean? It's not something that's, you know, there's not a lot you can do with that, right? Because frankly, when somebody's really having a seizure, they shouldn't be on Twitch, right? In fact, they're probably not. You know, if you look back, I'm going to bring up this point one more. Ooh, objection.
Objection!
Objection. The talk of a crate bite is irrelevant. My client is not being charged with faking a crate bite. The fact remains that he is being charged with faking a seizure, which the prosecution admits is not what happened. If the prosecution has written a faulty charge, then the jury's decision should reflect that. In other words, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Objection!
Well, I gotta tell you, I got an objection to that, Your Honor, before we go ahead, okay? So I would agree that that faking the crate bite is not necessarily something that we're talking about at the moment. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily something I'm about to go up here. However, I would argue in regards to this specific argument of sorts. Look, whether or not a crate did or did not come. Thank you very much for the follow, Katasha Lockhart. I hope you were able to see points 1 through 3. You're coming at a weird point if you haven't come in at this point. But thank you for the follow. In regards to that objection, I would have to say, look, you're right that I'm not charging him with faking a crate bite. However, if you were to look at the actual the words, or the sort of gobbledygook that's being put on here, you can take a look here. You can see that he went out of his way to put up, you know, umlauts and, you know, little enye with the N, up here, little enye. I believe that's how you pronounce that Spanish character. We got a little Russian OE, I think. You know, we got these other ones, right? So, but my whole point is this. If you actually got a seizure here, if you got a legitimate seizure, first off, you're not on Twitch, right? You're not on Twitch. You're not, you know, sort of showboating. You should get medical help, right? You're probably not saying anything. In fact, if you are going to say anything, it's probably something like this. You know what I mean? What I just posted in chat. Probably something like that. It's probably something a little bit, in fact, maybe even a little shorter, because even what I just posted is very obviously something a little bit more fabricated. You know what I mean? In my personal opinion, I think it's very unlikely that you're going to go out of your way to find a foreign language character that is similar enough to an English character that you could read it. You feel me? If you're looking at the OK, the OOK, it looks bizarre, but it's still legible, because we can look at that character and think that's an O. So my point in regards to this, Your Honor, is not necessarily that the crate bite was fake, as odd as that is to be bitten by a crate while you're on stream, or while you're watching somebody stream Resident Evil 2. But I would argue nonetheless that it's an odd thing to make. And in fact, Your Honor, before you deliberate on that objection, I would like to point out one additional. You know, you could call it a fact, you could call it, you know, whatever. Because there is a little bit more that we can talk in regards to this, you know, supposed crate or whatever. We've got one more little piece of evidence. Now, I don't know about you folks. I love a little something called Wikipedia. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you ever heard of Wikipedia. Anyone up in here? Anyone up in here ever heard of Wikipedia? It's a pretty nifty little thing. Oh, everyone's just seeing all my ducks here. Okay, well, that's great. Let's see if we can find it. Can we find it before everyone in the world sees what I'm doing? Hold on a second. Let's. We got Wikipedia. Anyone? Hands up! Hands up if you heard of Wikipedia. Hands up. I'm sure you have. It's a great little thing. It's full of great stuff. Yeah, we got a bunch of hand raises. I love it. Love to see it, guys. Let's see a bunch more hand raises. I know y'all got a whole bunch of hand raises. Okay, so here's the deal, folks. Uploading this picture. Look, the prosecution's got a lot going on. Prosecution's got a lot going on. We can't always you know, prep everything ahead of time, but we try our best to, because you know what I'm saying? Look at this, folks. Look at this. This is the information that I found on Wikipedia regarding the banded crate. Okay. The banded crate is a species of snake found in the Indian subcontinent. In China, actually, it's kind of spicy considering we escaped China. Although the banded crate is venomous and its bite may be deadly to humans, it is shy, primarily nocturnal, and not particularly aggressive, so the overall risk to humans is low. Look, if you did get bitten by a snake like this, you know, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it's pretty unlikely that it happened. And not only is it unlikely, you probably would have a very serious problem. It's venomous and it may even be deadly. I highly doubt that the testimony we're seeing is necessarily something that's going to be reflecting a real life seizure. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily something that seems to be rooted in any sort of factual grounding. It is something that in my opinion, maybe even weakens the case just a little bit, because I'm taking a look here one more time, looking through this sort of like stuff. He's telling us the medicine's going to help. He's just casually got this medicine on him, which I think is suspicious in itself. Yeah, not a lot to say there. Not a lot to say. In fact, I believe at one point, I don't have the testimony on this at the moment, but I do believe at one point it was his dog who went ahead and had an issue there. So, ooh, hold on a second. We got Spider. These charges don't make any sense. These charges don't make any sense. Your Honor, this is a kangaroo court. Oh, give me just a second, and I'll weigh in on this opinion. Just a second, folks. Now, folks, that's a pretty serious assertion to be making from the Spiderdude, that this is indeed a kangaroo court. Now, you know me. I find myself a judge to be somebody, a man of the people. The jury is the people who have a lot to say here. So I'm going to ask you as a poll to you, a 1-minute poll for everybody in the audience. Is this a kangaroo court? I would like to ask you that. Yes, a kangaroo court. No, it's a banded crate court. There we go. 1-minute poll, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to know, is this indeed a kangaroo court? What would you have to say to that before I sustain or overrule this objection? I would like to know whether or not that is the case. Is this a kangaroo court? Would you consider this to be a kangaroo court, or would you consider this instead to be a banded crate court? Because I do believe there's quite an important distinction to be made here. Oh goodness, this is a close one. Perhaps extra votes should not have been allowed in this case. Could be a little bit tricky here between the kangaroo court and the banded crate court. Very curious what folks would have to say about this case. I also see ads are being played for our poor non-subscribers. A bit of a shame there. However, 1 minute is almost over. We've got maybe 10 more seconds. Oh goodness, it is getting close. It is close, and looks by a 2/3 majority. By a 2/3 majority, it looks to be a banded crate court. So unfortunately, I'm going to overrule that, Spiderdude. I don't think you actually hosted a formal objection or a formal complaint about that. But I would say that this is indeed a legitimate banded crate court. And I would turn back to the prosecutor. Prosecutor, I'm sure you have something you would like to say about this case. Yeah, that's right, folks. Yeah, I got something to say. First of all, I couldn't agree more. Definitely abandoned Crate course court. Now, like I said a little bit earlier, look, earlier charges, a little bit sillier, right? A little bit sillier. Whole Assassin's Creed weapon and you know, James. Well, that's not so silly, but you know, ex-girlfriends and prosthetic courts and things like that. Look, I gotta level with you. From a streamer's perspective, that's not really the type of story that I'd like to see. I want to see more. In fact, I want to go on the record here. I would like to go on the record. Your Honor, put me on the record. We'll do that. Yes, give us yes. Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. Look, on the record, storytelling, fantastic. I love it. The more stories, the better. Funny stories, even like, you know what I mean? Like, in fact, Jesus is maybe one of my favorite people on stream. Not even kidding. One of my favorite people on stream because I love when he pops in and shares with us some amazing stories about his life. I couldn't love it more. As a streamer and as a community, thumbs up to all of that wonderful stuff that's going on. Thumbs up with the great storytelling. Seizures. Over the line. Yeah, I think we can all agree. If you actually have a seizure, that's something very serious, right? That's something you need to seek medical help. You should not be on chat. And I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, it makes me feel awkward as a streamer. Like, that it's kind of like, not that I'd be liable, obviously there's nothing like that, but it just makes me feel very uncomfortable. And if you were there on chat, I know a few people who were currently there. I think Zach was still in here, Zero Wiseman, maybe Toon was there. I think even Spider was there and Demas were there. There was enough people there that felt pretty uncomfortable by it, and felt like it was pretty improper. And if I'm going to be very honest with you, the whole reason this courtroom, it's obviously very silly and it's not, you know, super serious at all. But the whole reason this court is even occurring is because, like, I saw that as a streamer. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this. You know, there was part of me, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not a very, like, band person, I feel like, in general. I want to be inclusive of all people and have all, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, you have to really do a lot to earn a ban, in my opinion, or really be, like, somebody with nefarious intent. And I don't believe I don't believe he is. The more that I've talked with him and the more that we've kind of, like, hung out, and of course, since May 19th, that's, like, what, like, almost 3 weeks ago. Since then, we've hung out a lot more. You know, and I got more of a sense of who he is. But at the time, I was like, I don't know how to handle this. Like, is it ban-worthy? Like, you know, to just seek attention in that regard. You know, because it made me feel really uncomfortable. It made a lot of people feel really uncomfortable. And it makes me wonder, like, what's your intent here, right? Like, are you joining the stream, you know, because you're enjoying what's happening and you're enjoying the people and you're vibing and, like, you're having a great time? Or are you just joining to get attention, you know? And, like, how do I deal with that, right? So, that's kind of my very serious take on that. You know, the act being dropped a little bit. You know, like I said, storytelling, tall tales, like, go for it. Like, I love it. Like, the taller the better. You know, anything to get some fun conversation going. I'm like 2 thumbs up. I'm all for. Please don't fake seizures, right? Please don't fake seizures. This should go without saying. Don't say offensive things, right? Like, I think you guys noticed that I'm pretty much somebody who doesn't swear, who tries to keep things pretty clean. I'm very tolerant, respectful of all people. I know all of you guys are too. I don't think there's anybody bigoted or anyone offensive. But you know, those are the type of things I'm not gonna be a whole thing for, right? So in all seriousness, I'm gonna get off my high horse because I'm you know, this is like something that I really did want to talk about with everyone. And that, like I said, the whole reason we're doing this courtroom in general. But for real, at the very least, even if the seizure was real, which I highly doubt that it was, like highly doubt that it was, for sure was in poor taste, right? Like, it's never. Like, that's never going to be something I respect or something that I like a lot. And I do respect Jesus in retrospect. He's a really cool guy. And I'm actually really sad he's not here because we're painting him in, like, a really, like, I don't know. I hope we're doing him justice because he's a really funny guy and I really enjoy him quite a bit. It's easy to turn into, like, a mob room when, like, you know, he's not around to, like, talk about it himself. But I love him personally. And indeed. So anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Suggesting crucifixion. No, I would, the prosecution, look, we're a friendly, silly group here. We have a lot of fun, and it's great. So anyway, I am going to throw it back to the judge, because of course I'm just a lowly prosecutor. But our good friend Judge, I think, is maybe opening up that box of Pokemon Oreos, and I think he's doing a great job. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I believe you've heard quite a bit from the prosecution. Does the defense have anything else that they wish to say, actually? I don't think the defense necessarily had too much to say other than objecting to the crate in particular, and maybe raising questions about this being a kangaroo court, which is, of course, not the case. It is indeed a banded crate court, as we've discussed and have voted on. But I do wonder if the defense has anything else they wish to say. I will bring it on over to Mr. Spiderdude. Nothing further this time. Okay, sounds good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and do another poll. Another poll. Do you believe that our good friend, defendant, Mr. Jesus, Mr. Our Lord and Savior, Mr. Storyteller for You, is he guilty of faking a seizure, in poor taste? Guilty and not guilty. I apologize. I do not mean to ignore the Chaos Chips Ahoy. I do not mean to do that, but I will take a look at the scrolling. We got a lot of amazing stuff in chat, which is, of course, a lot of fun. Now, that being said, ladies and folks, while we are discussing the merits of this being a thing or not, I do believe we could maybe transition slightly into a cookie stream, as was suggested earlier. Although, actually, are we a cookie stream? Maybe that's a poll. I should have. That was probably better than a banded crate stream. Are we even a banded crates? Drop an emoji of a cookie. Drop an emote of a cookie if you believe that we are possibly a cookie stream. And I suppose maybe I don't know what the opposite of a cookie stream would be, but I'd like to know, because we got a poll going on and I cannot do multiple polls. Are we a cookie stream? Drop some emotes of sorts if you would suggest that to be the case, or perhaps maybe an argument in favor of it. I do not know if we are a cookie stream. In fact, I do not even know if we have cookie emotes. We may not have cookie emotes. There might not be anything in regards to that. Can you make streams of just eating cookies and still be on Twitch, or will Twitch come after you for streaming? Oh, Toy Basher, you can stream almost whatever you want. You can do plenty of things that are non-game related. In fact, I would say that this is indeed account. You're right, Phantom, and we are still doing that, Phantom Phoenix. We are indeed still doing that. That is a bunch of kangaroos. That is rude, Eclair. We are not the kangaroo court. We are indeed a banded crate court. But no, Toy Basher, if you think about this, this is really nothing gaming related whatsoever. This is just a silly event, and that is indeed something that is occurring on Twitch that is not gaming related. So plenty of things are not so much gaming that you can do. In fact, on this subject, I love that this was brought up in a very casual and natural way. Very glad to see that, to be very honest with you, because I do have a poll that I created. I'm sure people saw it today on the Discord. And in fact, if you're not on the Discord, I will go ahead and post that link right now, because I love all of you. And you are amazing. Katyasha, you are something very special. I cannot believe to have met you, a random person, popping out on this very specific community trial. You are a great person. I am not normally a judgment. We don't have a lot of hashtag controversy, because we're quite small. But normally we play a lot of fun indie games and retro games that are crowdsourced and community sourced. And I would hope that people here would vouch for me, because they are, of course, wonderful followers and friends. That being said, I do indeed have a lovely little survey that I will ask, not require, of course, I would never require a survey, but a survey does indeed help me figure out if you guys like content like this. This is something that was not gaming related. This was something very different than my normal affair. Very, very different. So in fact, I will just go ahead and post it right here. If anyone is interested in taking this survey and helping me figure out exactly what it is that you'd like to see, what do you think we can improve on, I am very much a fan of this. Oh my goodness, we have a spider. I have nothing further at this time. If that is the jury's decision, I will accept it. But I will say, I suspect nepotism between the prosecution and the judge. So frankly, Your Honor, this is BS.
Objection!
Objection! Look, Hold up. Give me a second to object to that properly. Objection. There's no nepotism. We're just there's no relation between me and the judge. We're different people. We're very different people. Although I will say, as somebody unrelated to the judge and somebody very sweaty, it does look like we found Jesus to be guilty of that charge, which I would agree with. Okay, we got one more charge here. We got one more. The judge and the prosecution are the same person. Look.
Objection!
We're very different people. We're both. Look, I got slick gel back hair, and he's got a perfectly coiffed hair. We're very different people. There's no hashtag controversy. There's no hashtag. I just said it. I was just telling Katasha Lockhart. There's no hashtag controversy in this community. None at all. In fact, even this courtroom is very much something kind of silly and fun. Oh, and it looks like Katasha is thinking this might be a cookie stream. It could very well be a cookie stream. All right, now, folks. Now we will go back to the first case. I do agree with Phantom Phoenix. We did have one more. We did have one more to occur. One more case to deliberate on. So, Katasha, I don't know if you were here earlier for this. Hold up. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, okay, we got don't know if you were here for it a little bit earlier, you know what I mean? We got ourselves an earlier charge, okay? Was of course there were 4 charges, and I don't know when you popped in, you lovely little thing you, but the first charge was that he did indeed lose his weapon. Jesus lost his weapon to a cosplay weapon. He lost his arm to a cosplay weapon. We're gonna scroll up, back up top, so we can get a little bit of a quick refresher. And if people in the jury have new points they'd like to make, or even Spiderdude, if Spiderdude, the defense, has got new points, the prosecution will hear it. You feel me? Now here's the deal, okay? Here's the deal. I swore in, as the prosecutor, this expert witness, Miss Toon Doulahan, okay? She goes by many names. For the purpose, we can call her Miss Doulahan. Reverse Google image searching being one of them. Now, this post was made on Discord, okay, by a storyteller for you, otherwise known as Jesus. Claiming that this was the guillotine gun that took his arm. Okay, he's got a prosthetic arm. The guillotine gun took it. Okay, that was the picture that he took. Okay, now, strenuously reverse searching the image, Toon did come across an Etsy page that looks remarkably similar, if not outright the same. Just a different, angle of sorts on this picture. We came to a page. This Etsy page, made by a Mr. Pinksy Props. Okay, a lot of 5-star reviews. Amusingly, this one received a 1-star review. That it was not what was expected. In fact, I would suspect that maybe Mr. Jesus goes by the name Rex and lost his arm and perhaps was not happy and had to give a 1-star review. That being said. Not only was the buyer unhappy, it was a prop, a mediocre one at that. Was nowhere near capable of blasting anyone's shoulder. Find out how relieved he runs the store. He restores old weapons. And indeed, our Lord and Savior Jesus, on multiple points throughout chat, talked quite a bit about Assassin's Creed, wanting to play it. And this is indeed an Assassin's Creed cosplay weapon. So, does anyone else have more points to say? Because I do believe that our last poll was very close as a result of perhaps extra votes being cheap and very, very spammable. I believe that was the case. However, does anyone else have new points or new ideas they would like to share in regards to this charge at hand? Because charge number 1, not super serious, but he did lose his arm to a cosplay weapon, and frankly, the prosecution finds that to be pathetic. We are a very manly team. Well, maybe that's not the right word. We're very, we take great pride in our physical health here, and to lose your weapon to a cosplay weapon or lose your arm to a cosplay weapon is a bit pathetic. Were there any new points? I don't know that there were. I'm looking, scrolling down. We're seeing this. I would like to delete this. I don't know how to delete this, Your Honor, because that's not true. That's just patently not true. That's just straight up false. You know what? Let's give an @ to Jesus. Maybe Jesus is around. I guess not. No, I guess not. Because otherwise we could tag him in the audience, and it doesn't seem like we can. Maybe glass bones, paper skin. How do you lose an arm to a cosplay weapon is a great question. Great question. But you know what? That is the question of the day. So if there's no further points, I would have to agree with Master Wadi. Let's go ahead and do one more poll. We'll do a shorter one, not 3 minutes, but maybe 2 minutes. 2 minutes seems to be a good sweet spot when it comes to polls. So here we go. Is he guilty of losing his arm to a cosplay weapon? Now, if folks are curious, Jesus should have mentioned the court and both the prosecution and defendant. They were working multiple jobs, however, with smithing and restoration.
Objection!
Love it. Gotta get a good objection from the audience. Forgot to turn that off. I love it. Guilty or not guilty? We're gonna find out right now. What do people have to say? It is both indeed a canon and an axe. So here we go. 2 minute poll, not a 3 minute poll. So what do you guys think? What do people think? Is he guilty of losing arm to cosplay weapon? Wait, did I do the? I don't know if I did the bonus points correctly. Did I do that correctly? I don't know how I did it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna close that real quick. I apologize. Now, if you want to call it a cookie court, you could probably call it a cookie court because I don't think I did that correctly, but also don't know how to stop it. Don't know how to stop it. Anti-end to poll early. I feel like. Can someone tell me if the bonus points, if you can spend DemiBytes very cheaply on this one, because that was not to be. That was not the case. Did not mean to do that. If you catch them, so here we go. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna do a new one real quick. Is he guilty of losing his arm to cosplay weapon? Guilty or not guilty? I believe okay. Actually, that was okay. So there were indeed. It was indeed the correct way. All right, I apologize, but I believe your points are refunded. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and vote on this one, I wanted to make sure that the points were correct for bonuses. Okay, so there we go. There we go, folks. 2 minute poll going on. 2 minute poll. The transcripts show Jesus' description of the record. Were truly announced or acknowledged. Constitution were poor. I doubt he'd willingly venture into dangerous areas. That's a very good point, Mr. Demas. I have to agree with that. It's a prop, thus being canon's irrelevant. And while he displayed amazing storytelling abilities, I would venture to say his common sense leaves much to be desired. Mr. Claire, I would have to agree with that. And while I'm also saying all sorts of amazing things, I would also like to know if we are a cookie stream. Gosh darn it. Are we a cookie stream? Are we a Taki? Are we a Metal Gear 2 stream? Because that's also possibly the case. We're going to find out right now, after this trial, what kind of stream we are. Because we got a lot going on. Love to see all these new folks. Could not believe we got any new folks, quite frankly, because this is a very insular kind of event. Very much a community gathering and a celebration of sorts, which is a lot of fun. Missy Claire is being a little bit obnoxious when it comes to the kangaroos. Which is a bit of a shame. Gotta say, definitely not the best. Phantom Phoenix, if you're referring to the current poll, I deleted it, so you should have a refund. If you spent additional points on this poll, you should have additional ones. But actually, looks pretty solid. Looks pretty solid. This is both a kangaroo stream and a cookie trial. Wow, I like it. I like it. We got a lot of hopping kangaroos up in here. A lot of kangaroos. Despite the fact that this has been officially deemed to be a banded crates. Ooh, very close. Ooh, 58% to 42%. I would probably call that a hung jury. That's a very close margin. That's a very close margin. I mean, I'm not the judge here, but if I were the judge, I would call that a hung jury. To be honest with you. Because I'm not the judge and I can't say that, but Oh. I think I just ate a little bit of hair gel. Now I just looked a bit of hair gel. Oh, that was the worst talk I've ever had. Oh. Disgusting. Disgusting. Gross. Your Honor, would you take it away, please? I'm gonna go wash the soap out of my mouth, or wash the gel. Give me a second. All right. No. They shouldn't be requiring points or bits. No, there should be a free one. Is there a way? You're saying there was no way to vote for free? I don't think that's true. I've never seen a poll like that. There are always additional votes. There are always additional votes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it does appear that on the count of charge number one, losing his arm to a cosplay weapon, the defense would say, or sorry, the jury has deliberated, and the deliberation is a hung jury. There is neither a guilty or a not guilty for charge number one. That is just simply not the case. However, when it comes to charge number two, let's go ahead and bring that up. Charge number two. Providing inadequate care to his friend James, who died in a spring-loaded trap in the Egyptian pyramids. May he rest in peace. It was voted guilty. He was indeed voted guilty of providing inadequate care to James. R.I.P. Justice was served and delivered in the words of the prosecution, which of course I am not. In regards to charge number three. Providing inadequate emotional support to Sofia's ex-girlfriend with a prosthetic leg who murdered 8 kidnappers in China. It was not guilty. Decidedly not guilty. Whether or not that was a result of Sofia being too much of a badass and not needing the emotional support, or whether that was the result of just the evidence itself. Mr. Jesus is indeed not guilty on the charge of point number 3. And when it comes to the final and most serious charge of fabricating a chatroom seizure on May 19th that scared the chat and was in poor taste, overall, I would say it was also decidedly guilty on that charge. And I would agree in that regard. As a streamer, please do not do that. You are asking for a ban because I don't know your intention when you do things like that. And that is the reason we had this trial in the first place. So congratulations for all of that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and go back to the full screen. First of all, I'm seeing people saying that there was free voting, but the last 2 required points. I have never personally seen a chat that only requires points. There should always be a free option. I apologize. And if the deleted poll took away some of your points, you know, I'm sure I can find some way to refund you. So I apologize if there was anything in that regard. However, for the most part, this is a fun stream, right? And points, you know, you can always get more points. So I will help you with that if that is a big deal to you, and I will happily do so. And I apologize if the poll was indeed different, because like I said, I've only ever seen Twitch polls that have a free vote with additional votes. I've never seen it only require additional votes, which is a little bit pay to win, I suppose. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our courtroom. Let's go ahead and give a little, you know, order in the court with my lovely green screen. Yes, could not agree more. Thank you. I agree very strongly with Miss Tundulahan. Please, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, take a look at these wonderful artwork pieces. This Spiderdude, let's go ahead and make him a little bigger so we can all see how wonderful this looks. This Spiderdude, Jesus. Objection! Jesus himself, right? Our defendants in the case. And actually, there were a few other pieces of art that I was not personally able to get going for this, but Zero Wiseman did an amazing job with the artwork. Please, I cannot thank her enough for that, for all that she's done. Very good artwork. Could not agree more. Spiderdude, a big shout out. And actually, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show off everyone right now a little bit of the behind the scenes action, a little bit of behind the scenes action going on, because I think it's kind of fun to get some behind the scenes action. So, we straight up. Let's see if I can go full screen. Can people see that? Nope, they can't. There we go. We straight up, look at this, folks. This is 25 pages. Oh, hold up. You can't see it. I don't think. There we go. 25 pages. Can you see that? 3 out of 25. Our good friend Spiderdude went through all the VODs, all the stream VODs, where we had the evidence, like May 19th for the seizure, and the previous ones that had those other stories in the pyramids, and in not just in the pyramids, but also in China, and the guillotine gun. He alone really went through all of those VODs and copy pasted the transcripts. There are bots that can do that only in retrospect. I couldn't find a bot that could I'm sorry, proactively, can only do it in the future. I've never found a bot that could retroactively pull up things like that. He painstakingly went through all of it. Not to mention, very punctual, always prepared. Guys, he did a great job. And I think the fact that he won, that he got a hung jury on the guillotine gun and got a not guilty charge on Sofia, I think speaks a lot to his preparation and his great work. Cannot thank Spiderdude enough. He was really amazing. Huge shout out to Spiderdude. He did a lot of work, a lot of great work. Big shout out to him. Amazing stuff. And was it a kangaroo court? It was certainly a banded crate court. You know what I mean? whether it was a kangaroo court, right? We voted it wasn't, but a banded crate court, I think we could say.